Welcome back to the 3x5 Live
podcast.
Our mission here is purpose-driven productivity. We talk about mindset, wellness, mindfulness, habit change, productivity.
Lots of things.
So thank you for being here again. And last week we chatted about legacy habits, kind of visualizing the best version of yourself and how you can create legacy habits to achieve that. And doing that in the now, man, that is
loud.
Oh my goodness. That's a cicada, guys. Sorry. I think it's a cicada.
I don't. I should know.
All right. Anyway. So this is the Jessie Show.
Stop.
So she's going to dive into this week's topic.
This morning, it was a little bit crisp, and I was like, I feel like we should talk about fall and Ayurveda and balance and, what autumn means from an Ayurvedic standpoint. So whether you think this is woo-woo or not, it's grounded in science. It's a 5,000-year-old practice. So I'm going to offer some information. And if it serves you, fabulous. And if not, that's okay too. But if you think about autumn and it's moving into the Vata dosha when we hit autumn, we're coming out of that hot, active summer, which is our pitta energy. We talked about food and nourishment in the summertime. You're craving cool, watery foods that help balance your body. Yeah. Well, in the winter, we switch into Vata, which is actually very dry and airy. And so you might start to notice that even like your skin is starting to get really dry. We start to crave warm, comfort foods that nourish us. We need a lot of oil in our diet actually in the fall, because our skin is so dry and our whole bodies are actually dry. So our systems really are balanced by oil. In fact, if you're really getting into it, using some type of sesame oil, Banyan Botanicals is an awesome company. They do a dosha balancing massage oil that you can actually put on your body, and it helps your skin to glow, and it helps with circulation. It helps with stress reduction. So
I do not benefit from the massage oil.
Oh, stop. Because you're supposed to self-massage, and you always move towards your heart. So your lymphatic system, you move towards your heart. But besides that, just thinking about how we're nourishing our bodies to support this change. Transition's tough, right? And when we're moving into fall, a lot of times it's a perfect time to let go of things that aren't serving you and connect yourself back to those things that are. In fact, if you think about it, Vata is very windy and airy. And so if you can picture yourself as a tree and your roots are really grounding in the fall, but having flexible branches, because fall usually throws at us a lot of different stressors, back to school, back to kind of those routines of lots of sports and running around, which can cause some overwhelm. And so self-care in the fall is maybe the most important time of year, because you're really trying to minimize. You're supposed to be minimizing grounding, but in fact, we actually kind of speed up a little bit. So you're transitioning into those winter months, which really are about hibernation and rest and rejuvenation. And so how do you go from busy summer and start to slow down so that you're preparing yourself for winter? I don't know if you had anything to add about like our fall already.
The stress of this fall is compounding, but I think it's also, coming out of a COVID summer and then the unknown of the fall with schooling and whatnot is adding a lot of stresses to people's lives. And plus, usually I know in the business world, October is the heaviest travel month. So a lot of people are getting demands to start traveling again, or just really coming out of the summer slump and working more diligently in the fall to close out the year.
Yeah, so from a productivity standpoint, we double down in the fall, which is funny because our bodies usually are craving more of like a grounding slowdown. And so long story long is just, I would love for you to look at this transition and how it's impacting you. It can be a really heavy time emotionally, physically, mentally for us, because we are in conflicting balance of what we should be doing, right? The world's speeding up, but really thinking about how you might tap into some self-care that allows you to ground and be present more in where you are, keep your roots.
Do you have any actionable items for grounding in the fall, or?
One of the best ways is actually to go barefoot and literally ground outside in grass. So when the weather starts to shift, sometimes we start to layer up and put our everything back on. And the process of putting our feet to the earth and just being outside in nature immediately lowers your cortisol levels more significantly than anything else you could possibly do. So when you say, are there actionable steps, get outside first thing in the morning, allow your biorhythms to recalibrate with the rising sun, which you notice that the sun, it's getting dark earlier again because our days are starting to get shorter. And so acclimating yourself with that daily rhythm can do so much for your system and that cortisol level, those stress hormones. So that's one thing. The oil massages are so great for your body and your lymphatic system. It can be just with lotion, but just that ability to help your body with some of that moisture because it is so drying. Another way to balance is with our foods and our diet. I talked about grain bowls and, warm like mushroom gravies and like we love like stews and soups and
apples.
And apples. If your body is craving something that's in season, it's intentional because seasonal foods offer us the nutrition that we need. And depending on where you are in the world, what those foods are that are available, look into that. For us, it's apple season for sure. So we're craving things that are baked apples and this, or, what types of vegetables and root vegetables are growing in your gardens that you can sustain and put into your diet. So it's different depending on where you live. But that's that intuitive nature. Tapping back into the earth is a perfect thing for fall.
Great.
Yeah.
I think it's tough to recognize what your body, like you might be craving a food, but you might not realize it's the seasonal pull. Yeah. That's taking you towards that food and being just aware of, oh, wow, maybe that is the season change that's driving me to crave those things that my body is desiring.
And the idea with Ayurveda is to balance your 3 doshas, your kapha, your pitta, and your vata. And so the goal is when you're in a season like vata, which has these qualities to it, to balance your other doshas so that you feel more like in alignment. And it's really, really helpful. I've had multiple people who have switched and researched their specific affinity and their dosha, and they practice those balancing principles, including sometimes supplementation, but not always. A lot of it's just like how we eat and how we like do our skincare and how we, what we're drinking, like if we have caffeine and relationships. So anyway, if you're interested in Ayurveda, clearly this is a topic near and dear to my heart, and I would love to unpack it with you.
Maybe I'll have Jessie put down a few books in the show notes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can link a specific quiz, a couple quizzes that you can take to try to figure out what your dosha is, and a couple books that are really great to like where to start. One of them is literally called Ayurvedic for Dummies, and it's or Ayurveda for Dummies, and it's a very easy like how to dive into this world. But it is, I don't know, I feel like it's very intuitive and taps into your natural affinities. So
yeah, I got nothing for you guys. This week I got nothing.
He gets it because I cook these nourishing meals that warm our bodies and help us transition into fall. So he does get it. He just doesn't realize it.
All right. Until next week. Know your dosha. See you guys.
Take care.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning. Time to go.